evening. Welcome to Astrology Throwdown tonight. So glad to have you here. This is where we obsess about Napoleon and Elvis Costello and Van Morrison and astrology. That's what we've been talking about lately. I was just listening to Van Morrison in a recent concert singing Precious Time, one of his beautiful songs. Precious time is slipping away. Who's always talking about time slipping away? Time has taught us. Um, Also, Elvis. Elvis is also talking about all the time that's slipping away. And I, I'm so frustrated by the situation. And it is so painful seeing them so disturbed to have their time wasted like this when they have so much to do. Yes, they're touring, but uh, we're all trapped and we can't move because the spanking dynasty is putting these BS rules on us. And I have, I can't believe this is happening. Anyway, so we will be throwing some stones tomorrow. That is very exciting. Why? Because this bracelet's really nice. They're all beautiful, but this one's really beautiful. And it is going to appear somewhere tomorrow as long as it's not too windy. If the weather's pretty nice, we'll put it in front of a live cam and then we'll see what happens. And that's the fun part, to do something different and then to see what happens. And a lot of people see it and they're like, stay away. It's got to be trouble. They just figure it has to be a trick or something. That's why, because that's the world we live in. If you see something good, you think it's a trick. That's terrible, isn't it? That's not that's not from us. That's from them. They have created a mentality out there that if something good is happening, it's got to be a trick. So that's a real practical way that banking dynasty is impacting us, because good is bad and bad is good. So the criminals get all the money, the good people get house arrest. It it messes with us to have a completely upside down culture, and it's being forced on us from this Ponzi scheme cult. And basically, I don't know if I can get them angrier. There's something I really want to talk about, but I don't want to offend my neighbor. But I'm gonna do it. So I've been trying to stay out of the whole Ukraine thing because I certainly know a psyop when I see one. And I'm sure people are suffering, and I'm sure people are getting hurt. That part I don't doubt. They hurt people in these operations they do. That's part of it. So that people are suffering in Ukraine is that I'm not questioning. But I know who's psyop. Who's paying for all those little flags? Not me. Not Van Morrison. So who's paying for them? Somebody with a lot of money is paying for that this whole operation. Well, what's the purpose of it? I've been staying out of it, so I'm not even going to talk about it because I don't want to reveal my ignorance or anything. But I'll just say it again. I know a psyop a mile off. Okay, it's a psyop. Whatever the point of the psyop is, it's something so they can get money and kill people. I'm just guessing because that's how they are. So that's my point. If you see them roll out another one, it's so they can get money, so people can get killed, and so they can get more power. That's why those psyops happen. And there's always guilt trips, lots of guilt trips, and lots of people getting hurt, so you'll feel bad. Okay, fine. So I know a psyop a million miles off, and I've mentioned many times that I had my own personal pot banger, and there were a couple people in my neighborhood getting involved in it, making noise every night at 7 for the nurses who don't live here. I thought that was very interesting. And they tried to make it like it was like a little party for the kids. So if I complained about it, I was somehow a jerk because children is always that little guilt trip in there. But the children, that's how you know it's them. Okay. There's always like that little hook. You're a bad person if you don't go along with it. That's them. Okay, fine. It's like another one of those. At the door. I get lots of visits to my door, obviously. Yeah, I want to bring these things up. Okay, fine. So someone comes to the door And oh, it's the mail carriers from the Ukraine. We should, all that. Oh, okay. This never happened before. Now we, I don't know, it seemed a little interesting. I was like, okay, oh, how nice. See, there's always that little guilt trip in there that you're a bad person if you don't go along with it. That's how you know it's them. You're a bad person if you don't go along with it. Children. So I I don't want to offend anybody. I don't hurt anybody's feelings. And if I'm, if this was all sincere and beautiful, please forgive me. But nonetheless, patterns, All right, fine. And then I look out my window, walk outside my door a little bit, and I say, oh, there's little flags everywhere. Oh, how interesting. These psyops come and find me, you know? If I won't rush out and meet them halfway, they come to my house. Okay? That's what I'm saying. Because I used to have agents, oh, why don't you post this? Why don't you post that? Wouldn't that be great? You're looking for content, right? You see, that's their job. It's their job to get in my ear. That's why I'm supposed to have a handler right now recommending what I should post. And now I have them coming to my house, letting me know that I'm not really a good person unless I jump on this psyop. All right, fine. That's how it is. And while I was posting about a certain publicist named John Podesta, who I feel John Podesta. I feel him very much. I feel his intense self over there on the other side. I've for years believed that he's a general over there. This is how they wage war on us through their publicists. He's a publicist. Anyway, so I was exposing things about him. Oh, look, who's at the door? A lawsuit. That's why I went through all those Podesta emails. I said, oh, I bet you this is something he does. That's what I did. I was only talking about him a little bit, right? And oh, Dick, here comes that lawsuit. Another lawsuit from the same person who there's already a lawsuit going with him. And I got another lawsuit. And I was talking about John Podesta at the time. So I go over there to Podesta emails. Oh, he's a lawyer. Oh, how interesting. I didn't know that. Oh, he teaches at Georgetown. Oh, he's a law professor at Georgetown. Oh, how Jesuit of him. That's so interesting, Anyway, it just goes on and on and on. All the visits I get. Okay, and then as you know, I got the drone visits. Now I have drones coming to my house, and I'm quarantined as if I'm a health threat to others. So for the sake of the community, I need to be kept away from people because of the illness I don't have. This is unbelievable. What are we going to do about this? They're just going to come up with one lie after another and keep coming to my house and act like that there's some kind of, I don't know, invisible thing in the air, some kind of little boogeyman. And then forever and ever and ever, the banking dynasty can keep putting that claw in our neck, just keep slamming us. And to Elvis and Van, please keep fighting, my friends. Keep fighting, keep fighting, keep fighting, because you are making a big difference. And I wish I could do more to support you. And what we're doing is the right thing. And I think a lot of people appreciate the right thing when they see it. And I did get, I think, I do think I'm telepathic with Elvis. And Van too. I hear Van too. That's the crazy part. I hear Van too now. Anyway, but Elvis is running the project, and he really is. He really is running the project. And Napoleon, Ghost Napoleon, the spirit of Napoleon was running it before, so it's not as if I've handed the authority over from myself to Elvis. I've handed it. I'm still listening to Spirit of Napoleon. He's everything to me, Spirit of Napoleon. I still talk to the Spirit of Napoleon. Oh my goodness, he's everything to me. So he assures me that Elvis is him, and they didn't tell me until now. I know it sounds bizarre, but they're assuring me that that is Napoleon. That's his higher self is the Spirit of Napoleon, and then his human self is Elvis. And and we're rooting for you completely, 100%, all the way behind you. So I do feel he asked me to look at his Venus aspects on the synastry chart. I looked at my synastry aspects yesterday, and today I'm looking at his. And it's incredible how accurate it is when I over and over and over again, I troll the internet for the relevant answers to this question. It's just, what are they saying? I don't care who's saying it. Just as long as I know it's in the ballpark. I write it all out. Maybe I already posted it last week. I'm reading it again. We're studying this. We're looking for the patterns. We're going to find out if this is real. When is this real? I'm I'm doing synastry charts with everybody. I'm doing natal charts all over the place. It's not just this. This is um I really think that we can play this game better if we understand astrology because for example, Chiron in our charts is where we're wounded. And okay, so what? We're wounded. Um, so much of what we do is from our wounds, the reactions, or the drinking, or the jealousy. All of these things are all coming from our wounds. So if we can really find out about our wounds and or study our wounds, understand our wounds, and understand how our wounds are really affecting our relationships, then maybe we can have better relationships because the whole problem here is that we're fucked up. We're really fucked up. Really fucked up. And we're going to have to fix that ourselves. And the banking dynasty is certainly not going to help us with that. So we're going to have to get sane quick. Funny coming from me, but I actually am sane. I actually am sane. These are the experiences I'm having, but I know people aren't used to hearing these things. So I looked at Elvis's Venus. That's his he's such a Venus. The whole thing is pointing to Venus and Neptune in Libra. So there you go. Such a Venus in Libra that's ruled by Venus. And he has some really difficult aspects with this Venus Neptune. They're roughly conjunct. So some of it's really easy for him to be a Neptune Venus, and some of it's really hard. He has these afflicted emotions. Oh gosh, they're so painful. I feel them now, and I wasn't in touch with them. I am no stranger to pain, believe me, but I can feel his feelings now, and they're horrible. They're really painful, but I feel privileged to share them. I'm weird, but it's an honor. It's an honor to share his pain with him because that's who he is. He is in a ton of pain, and his life has not turned out the way he hoped. And we're going to do everything we can to make it turn out the way he hopes. That's how I feel. That's what I want to see because all of our lives have not been able to progress in a natural way because we have this aberrant dynasty blocking everything. Can you imagine the career Elvis would have had under, say, Napoleon? I mean, I know that they are the same person, but Napoleon was an emperor that supported the arts. Okay. If you go through the memoirs, and please, if you haven't listened to the memoirs, listen to the memoirs because you will understand so much about everything. If you just listen to the memoirs, and it's a great story. What Napoleon did, if someone was extremely talented, like Elvis is or Van, these are great geniuses, he would support them. You know, he wouldn't send agents after them to seduce them and get them involved in bad marriages and all these horrible things that these this banking dynasty does to talented people because as opposed to seeing them as the gift to humanity that they are, the banking dynasty sees them as a threat. Look at me. I've been trying to have an artistic career my entire life. I can do a lot of things very well, but I can't get through the gatekeepers because I won't go along with their big lie. And this is all being done through gatekeepers. I can't have a career in art because they own the art galleries. They own the museums. They decide who becomes famous. Has that not been proven? They decide who becomes famous. So If you're famous, it's because it's somehow going to suit them. If it suits them, it's not going to suit the people because they war on the people constantly. All right, so this is what I always do. I try to talk about astrology and I start talking about some real stuff that needs to change. Absolutely needs to change. Napoleon would have won if the people had united behind him without violence. And Napoleon wanted to win without violence, as do we all, I hope. Not them. They want death. We don't. Okay? It's all everybody had to do is just stand with him. That's all. Just stand with him. But why didn't everyone stand with them? Because that banking dynasty had tricked people into thinking that he was a bad person. They vilified Napoleon and made people think that he was the cause of the wars when the banking dynasty was the cause of the wars. Okay, I'm trying to show you that what they did to Napoleon is what they always do constantly now. They've been trying to vilify me for years. And then what did they do? They trapped him and they put him under house arrest and they played a lot of sick games with him. Well, what have they done to me? They've done the same thing to me. They've trapped me and they've put me under house arrest like they did to him. Okay, so it's the same exact dynasty. It's amazing how little they changed their tricks. They haven't changed their tricks at all. So we know exactly who they are. We know exactly their names. We know exactly where they live. We know exactly what they own. Yeah, a lot of stuff. And they have stolen everything from us. I don't hear anybody anywhere making a real argument against anything I'm saying. What I hear is, oh, let's have another psyop and distract people. That's, to me, them validating that I'm right. That's the solution, right? More clownish behavior, right? Okay. I don't even see how they can win. For all the fear that people feel, how can they win? For example, in 2020, I had been persecuted. I was talking about it a lot, and I knew something was coming. I knew they were about to start something pretty big. So what did I do? January 1st, 2020. I left Facebook. I left Reddit. I left all of those things. I had I was told to. You know, I'm not going to say I was so. I was clairvoyant. I was clairvoyant. So they told me to get out of all of those things. Okay, what happened a minute later? Everybody lost their accounts. Why? Because the craziest bullshit ever came rolling down, and then people were not quite as stupid as I think they were expected to be. A lot of people were pushing back and talking and questioning things, and then they all lost their accounts. And I would have lost my account. They were dying to get my account. But I wasn't really participating in that psyop. It's like Elvis says in his song, Green Shirt, better cut off all identifying labels. I do understand that. And I almost feel like he was trying to like really get that through to me. I just feel that way. But that's it. They're trying to put a label on everybody. And then they turn the label black and evil. And then they say, oh, it's that person with that thing. That's bad. They're bad. They always do this. They always. So, oh my goodness, I could go on and on and on and on. How much they went through to try to put anti-vax on me. How they had a psyop in Germany, and I could see that banking dynasty all over it. I just wasn't sure the lawyer was in on it. I wasn't sure. I hoped he wasn't. But I could see everybody around him was that banking dynasty. But maybe they were all, rushing in. They rushed in like that to me. So I had to give him a chance. But then I realized this is completely an operation. Well, if they're running a whole, whatever operation, that's because it's all fake. You don't have a real crisis and then create all of these clown shows, these little circuses around it. It's all fake. It's a circus. And then they created this huge psyop in Germany just to trick me over there. And what happened is I actually found out everything about this little trick they pulled. I mean, there's nothing to it. There's nothing to it. Nothing, nothing, nothing. And that injection killed my mother. There's nothing to it. Nothing. If you do the research, I did the research. I saw what the PSYOP was telling me, and then I went all around it, left and right, up and down, and I found out the truth. And some of the people in that PSYOP were real. So I tried to find out. See, that's what they do. They rope in the real people into the fake operations. And then the real people look fake, or the real people get the wrong information. That's how they cut the legs off the truth. Okay? They spent a lot of money stopping the truth. This is outrageous. See, now I'm mad. This is outrageous that in our faces, this banking dynasty that takes our banking system and then stops us from speaking the truth and threatens us and all these terrible things they do to us. And they take our banking system, our hourly, or I have to say that line again. They they bury what's good and they dig up the worthless. If something's good, they bury it. They've blacklisted me. I only want to help people. I'm not trying to do the things that I'm doing. I only really wanted to have a career in art. Napoleon's motto was career open to talent without distinctions of birth. Well, we're told that that's how it is here too. We're told that, but it's much worse to tell people that there is a career open to talent without distinctions of birth. And then when someone like me believes that that's true and tries and tries and tries, and then what do I hear? I hear that I'm a jealous loser because I wasn't born over there on the other side of the highway. I'm a jealous loser because I can't make it because obviously I'm not trying hard enough. No, 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 no. No, no, no. No one could ever possibly try harder than I do. See what I'm saying? With me, their BS breaks down. No, no, no. I did try hard enough. And they're there because they go along with it because they were born there. That's the truth. But then they say, oh, no, no, you're just a jealous loser who couldn't make it. You didn't try hard enough. That's a very sick trick to play on us. See, and that creates wounds. All of these incredible mind games that are played on us, that we're told that we can have a career in art, but turns out we can't. Wow, that's going to create quite a wound. And then you watch these other people who have these brilliant careers that they're not really talented or they're not really anything, but they have these incredible careers because they go along with the banking dynasty. Okay, so that's going to create a lot of resentment and wounds. So this is why I think it's so important for us to really study astrology and really look at our wounds, because we have so many everywhere. How are we going to talk to each other? I mean, I really think the day will come when I am actually going to meet my twin flame Napoleon, who is Elvis Costello right now. I can feel the momentum of it. I can feel that my life is carrying me somewhere, and I'm on a train and I can't stop it. And how am I supposed to get along with my own twin flame, who is like made of the same stuff as me? Our souls are knit together. We're the same, but every wound has been put in us, and we've been put on completely different sides of the aisle. How could we possibly get along? He's had every vice pushed on him his whole life. If anyone can't see this, that he was corrupted. And I have also been corrupted, but not like he has, but he's been corrupted. This is deliberate. They are doing this on purpose. Do you seriously think that these people end up on drugs and alcohol and in these horrible relationships? This is just happening to all of these cultural geniuses? This is deliberate. Anyway, so how can I possibly deal with someone who has been wounded in such horrific ways by such a left-hand path, dark occult dynasty, and he's been so much closer to it than I have? I can't even imagine what he's been through, what he's experienced. It's different over there, okay? They're not telling us what's going on. It's all a big secret, okay? This is what's keeping us apart. So when we understand our wounds, I have to tell you, it's been a gift. Every wound that I've had to look at over the last 6 months since Elvis has happily hijacked my project. Hijack it more. Hijack it all you want. You can have it. It's yours. And I'll do all the work, okay? Hijack it. I love it. I love everything that Elvis is doing with my project. I think it's better. I think it's way better now. Anyway, so he has brought all of this consciousness of wounds to me and all of these things that I don't like to deal with and don't want to deal with. All the big questions of the day. Who gets to succeed? Who's pretty? Who's not? All these incredible questions that were so wounded. I think we're very wounded. Us, let's just say us, people like me, we're very wounded because we were always told that we're not beautiful. Because we don't look like the other beautiful women. And the other beautiful women, I think, have had to feel pretty terrible that they have to try to look like us, you know, and really work hard at it and maybe fail a lot of the time. Okay? That's so we won't get along. We need to get along. We need to get over this. You see, all of that was put in us so we couldn't get along. We need to get along. We must get along. We must get along. Okay? But you see how the women on both sides are going to not really want to get along. You see? Okay? I've been around this my whole life. We have to get along. Have to. We have to understand it was not our fault. It's not their fault. It's not our fault that we were born into this situation. We have to get over it. Anyway, so obviously there's a lot of Chiron going on in a mind, and there's been a lot of Chiron going on over the last 6 months. Chiron is an asteroid that represents wounds and healing. Okay. And I'm very in touch with my wounds right now. Thanks to Elvis. Elvis is so wonderful at helping me feel my wounds, but I actually do want to feel them. I want to get over it. I don't want to be, I don't, I have no interest. I want to get along with everybody who wants to get along with me right now. Everybody. Even John Podesta, if you were sincere, I would say, John, I'm sorry about everything. I wish for that. I wish for that. I admire my enemies to a degree because they're tough. They're very tough, and I learn from them. And if they're doing something right, I copy it immediately, gleefully, because why not? So yeah, let's just get over things. So in our synastry, I have Chiron. I have Chiron. I know that was a good prelude to an aspect that I can really see in our synastry, my synastry with Elvis. My Mars. I keep talking about the Mars return, Mars. I'm still in Mars return, okay? So I'm still fired up big time. Okay, so that double Mars right now. Let's see if that's affecting us right now. So double Mars opposite Venus and Neptune. What's that going to be in Libra? Okay, so my Mars is in Aries. Okay. And there's a Chiron right next to it, and it's a Mars retrograde in a duplicated no, intercepted. No. Intercepted Aries. Okay, so it's a blocked Aries. It's in the 12th house, underwater. I can't even perceive it. So I actually cannot remember my own abusive childhood. So it's right there in my chart that it's in the 12th house. It's subconscious. I can't even remember my child abuse. And it's retrograde, so it's the past. And it's blocked. It's Aries intercepted. And it's very emotional. It's very painful, and I have really bad boundaries about it. So a 12th house is a place of like no boundaries. So it basically when you're abused as a child, it's very difficult to stand up for yourself because you're like afraid. You're always kind of afraid. That's why I'm alone so much. It's scary to be around people. So that's what I'm saying. Wounds, just wounds. Like they drive your whole life because I really do have Chiron next to the moon in Aries. So these wounds are self-esteem wounds. How do you have self-esteem when your parents treat you like that? How? There's how? You know, like I've been asking myself this question my whole life. How do you get over it? I'm trying to, but how? So that's wounds. Anyway, we all have them, and we should share them with each other and let everybody know that we're all human, and however we came out and however we look and whatever was done to us, it's okay. And I keep saying this, but I think everything was meant to play out this way. I think Napoleon was meant to be over there on the other side. And I think I was meant to be on this side. And I think it's because there's a great story playing out, and it's about changing us. Because me and Elvis are the same, you know? Like whatever, I can't even imagine what he's done. Oh my goodness. Whatever he's done, we're still the same. And I'll tell you what Spirit Napoleon always told me. He always said to me, uh, don't think I didn't love you because of my cheating. It's because I loved you that I was cheating. I was so unhappy and I just couldn't take it. I needed some kind of distraction. That's what Napoleon said. And he said, I can't even cheat on you anyway because we're always together, you know? Anyway, that's what Napoleon has to say about it. And we talked a lot about it because he's such a big cheater. Napoleon's a big cheater too. So how do you deal with that, you know? But it's because we can't be together. And I know it. That's what I'm saying. So could these big cheaters not be cheaters with me? That's a big question, you know? So that's all wounds. And I see like anybody who gets around Elvis falls in love with him in about a minute also. So, I have to work on my wounds about that. He's what a guy. Oh my goodness. He's so unusual. But boy, my goodness, he's got this charisma. Like Napoleon. Napoleon's the same way. Anyway, he's Napoleon. I don't know what else I can do. But Napoleon's a wonderful person, and he's worth all the trouble in the world. That's always any trouble Napoleon brings me, I want it because it's from him, and I know he's up to something good, and his aim is true. His aim is true. I know it is. Anyway, so I've really even talked about this, but we have Chiron opposition Elvis's Neptune and Venus. So that's his ideal love. He always wants his ideal love, and he sees things that aren't there in women. That's what that says. It's not even me talking. It's the Neptune confuses him about love, but also he's a twin flame. So it's the two. He sees things that aren't there because he wants them to be there, but they're not. But it's because he's looking for his twin flame. I mean, it's right there. The Neptune, which is illusions and spirituality, and Venus, which is love and pleasure and relationships. And it's in Libra. And he's such a beautiful musician. It's such a beautiful planets to have Neptune and Venus together in Libra. And he makes such beautiful music. And it's I know it's ideal, but he has this tortured emotions feeding into it, and then he has this great fame feeding into it, which I still think his great fame is to come. I think his fame's really been held back. As famous as he's been, he should have been much more famous, of course. So, and then what does Tanster bring to this beautiful, serene, um, musical, cultural place? I bring Uranus, shocks, and eccentricity, technology, freedom. He wants freedom. I'm gonna bring him freedom. That's what that is. That's freedom. I'm gonna bring him freedom. That's what it says. So, and then he's Venus. He's the Venus, and I'm the Chiron. And he really makes me feel those wounds. But I want to. That's how I get over them. I am getting over them really fast. Cause everybody falls in love with him every time they get around him. So what? That's great. So do I. Everybody does. He's incredible. You know what I mean? I can get over it. I think so. Everybody falls in love with him. I mean, that's a good thing, right? But it's a little, if you have a lot of insecurities, and it's not that easy. But I can get over them. That's cool. It's good. This is good. Anyway, I'm just showing how, if we can get along, We have to get along. We're stuck together. We're stuck together no matter what. I mean, he can go run around with all the goofies he wants. He's still stuck with me and he knows it. That's the reality. All right, all right. Enough about the groupies. Okay, so we'll move on. Groupies need love too. Anyway, all right. We'll do what we can. That's all we can. Just do our best. Talk about it. So here's a letter. Keep talking about Napoleon and Josephine and how Napoleon wrote those nasty letters to her. And now she's just crying and crying and crying. She thinks he's finally going to divorce her, which he is. And and because Napoleon's hearing that she's crying, he's being a lot nicer to her. But he's done. He is so done with this marriage. And he's about to meet Marie Valeska. But at this point, before he meets Marie Valeska, he's bored. Little not bored, lonely. He's not bored, he's working, but he wants Josephine and Hortense to come. Just to show you where he's at right here, because I know this story. He's lonely, and Napoleon, like Elvis, does not like to be alone. No. They don't like to be alone at all. I hate it. And there's this little difference between me and him. I'm fine alone. They can be alone too, but they would really not like it. They don't like being alone. Anyway, so Napoleon doesn't like being alone here. And he really wants Josephine to come because he really does want company. She does everything his way. So he likes everything his way. So that's fantastic. He's got her right where he wants her. She puts up with everything. And he wants Hortense. He really wants Hortense to come because that's who he really loves. But it's his sister-in-law, and but Holland's melting down, but Louis losing his mind because he's lost control of his wife. I mean, Louis obsessed with Hortense. Jealous is not the word. Psycho. And I know he had those banker agents all around him, making it worse. This I know. Those banker agents are all over everybody in this story. Okay, that's what's so interesting when you listen to the memoirs. Like, look at the banker agents; they're everywhere. Even the second wife is a banker agent. So that's what they do. They infiltrate, and then they become the wife. And then once it's the wife, it's a lot more trouble. That's how they do it. The bankers. Yeah, this is who's running the world and how they do it. We figured it out. I'm kind of proud of us. So let's hear a letter. He wants Hortense there. He wants Josephine there. But Hortense says, oh, no. He's got this whole problem with his brother. That's what's happening. And then finally, Marie Valeska comes in. He's like, no, nobody can come visit me. That's what happened. Talleyrand arrives and tells me, my love, that you do nothing but weep. What is it you want then? You have your daughter, your grandchildren, and good news. That's enough to make you content and happy. The weather here is superb. Throughout the campaign, not one drop of water has fallen. I'm very well, and everything goes on in the best way. Adieu, my love. I have received a letter from Monsieur Napoleon, but I do not believe he wrote it, but Hortense. 1,000 remembrances to everybody, Napoleon. See, Napoleon's gonna fix it with good news. That's funny. Anyway, that's Napoleon. Anyway, so let's see if this sounds approximate in the preoccupations and the voice. Let's find out. On a Friday evening in May 1972, Rusty had played down the bill from the whimsical Baroque Irish folk duo Tir na Nog at a beautiful little auditorium at St. George's Hall, where Charles Dickens had once given a public reading. My only previous appearance in that giant building had been at the adjacent Liverpool courts and assizes, where I'd had to give evidence to the coroner about the death of my school friend Tony Byrne. A month or so earlier, I held his sister Veronica's hand during the differing accounts of the incident. I was sworn in to give evidence, stating that I believed the car must have been going over the speed limit. In the corridors, during a recess, a policeman threatened me with a charge of perjury if I stuck to my story, as the skid marks had determined there had been no such offense. It was hard to accept, but I was only saying what I believed I'd seen. In the end, whatever I said made no difference to the verdict of accidental death. The monolithic temple actually contained two concert venues alongside the law courts and a catacomb of cells in which to keep prisoners. The building was decorated with painted friezes celebrating Liverpool's mercantile power in the 19th century. A relief out of carved stone had at one time shown figures representing the nations of the world kneeling before Britannia. Some argued that the African supplicant was a broken slave. Others said the same figure was giving thanks for the abolition of the wicked trade on which much of the city's wealth had once been founded. Everywhere you looked, there was a noble statue of a Victorian politician, an admiral, or a general. Mhm. Yes. See, this is what I'm talking about. Similar preoccupations. What do we go on and on and on about in the St. Helena Memoirs? St. Helena was full of slaves, okay? There was a real slave trade going on all around Napoleon and this wonderful country, Britannia. Let's not. It's this freaking dynasty that are into trapping people, okay? And they're trapping all of us, and we're trapped. They're too good at trapping people. They need to be put out of business, okay? Why are they so awesome at trapping us? Because they have centuries of practice as a dynasty. See, this is how he sets me off. Just slavery needs to end, okay? Financial slavery is slavery. Taking people's jobs and then herding them into wars based on BS stories, that is homicide. That is genocide. This has to stop. Okay, see. Thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate it. Have a good evening.